So next, I have the pleasure to welcome Mr. Lazare Eloundou Assomo, Director of World Heritage Centre at UNESCO, for the welcome speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In some places they say program director, in others they say moderator, so you're both. You're doing it so well. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's really a pleasure for me to be here today. Professor Albert, thank you very much for making this happen with everyone. And 50 years of the World Heritage Convention, time of peace, conflict, and war. What else can we say? I think we have to look for the future. Not only 50 years looking back, but why not 50 years looking forward? So let me thank the Federal Foreign Office and the Institute of Heritage Studies of the International Academy of Berlin for the possibility that is given to all of us today to share a few thoughts in relation to this theme. Yeah. I am privileged to do today, since a few months, to succeed this wonderful woman, Dr. Rössler. And I'm saying that I'm privileged because, you know, this mandate that we have on World Heritage at UNESCO, it's so unique within the United Nations system. And we always say to build the defenses of peace in the minds of women and men through education, science, and culture in all its forms. And to infuse the humanist values of respect, dignity, and I use your word, Professor Albert, identity. And this is not only to infuse identity, but also to infuse solidarity into people's consciences. And UNESCO has been doing these things for more than 70 years and has had this very important moment in the history of developing essential standard-setting instrument to support and involve all the countries of the world in this fundamental issue. And the World Heritage Convention is definitely, now I can say it, I'm the director of the World Heritage Centre, is the best known. And you will agree with me. So, in turn, is therefore also one that bears the greatest responsibility for promoting international cooperation, bringing people and resources together, and safeguarding, you know, the outstanding cultural and natural heritage as the heritage of humanity across the borders. And you started by saying that everything started the beginning with the Aswan, the Egypt, and Aswan is a dam history and everything. So let me not say again, you know, what we are today. We all know. We know the statistics. So I think in this room, no need to call again on the statistic. You said it already right from the beginning. So this is done. 194 state parties, 1,154 World Heritage sites, but located in 167 state parties. So not all the countries have World Heritage sites, But this is already something important, because on 16 November, this convention is going to turn 50 years. I don't know if there are some people who are born on 16 November, but I'm sure there will be a number of champagnes on that day. But this is just to say that, you know, we have dedicated this anniversary to an interdisciplinary reflection, like I was saying, on the future of World Heritage. And the theme of this year is World Heritage as a source of resilience, humanity, and innovation. So all what you've said, you, Professor, and of course you, Mr. Ralph, fits into this reflection, definitely. And when you start going into the details, then you will agree that there are certain things that this reflection needs to tackle. Of course, heritage and conservation in times of war definitely becomes something very important, but not only that, but also climate change. Very important. And sustainable tourism, which is also a very important issue, and balanced representation of inscribed sites, today 50 years after. So, these topics might seem familiar to all of us, and this new publication that we're having here has a strong focus on most of the subject. So we have to acknowledge that today. And it has it, but it also reveals a number of things that many challenges still remain. And I think, how many authors? 61 authors in 28 countries that are telling everyone that there has been successes, there has been many, many successes, but there are still a lot of challenges. And that tells us that we still have to continue working together. And nevertheless, and in spite of all odds, I still believe, and we still believe, that's what we hear, that the convention has stood the test of time and remains relevant and true to the intention of its founders. And more than ever, there is a need to continue protecting the world's cultural and natural heritage, not only for our time, but also for future generations and for the times to come. And yesterday, there was a conference in UNESCO for the 30th anniversary of the UNESCO chairs. And Professor Achille Mbembe, whom some of you know very well, was the key lecturer. And he reminded us yesterday, and I still have it, that we all have a responsibility to take care of this planet. And through World Heritage, I think we can still continue to do something to protect people's identity in times of war, to protect people's identity in the face of climate disruption and climate change. So as we can see from the conference program and the impressive related publications that we have here, this is a source of inspiration. This publication is a source of inspiration I quickly went through for researchers, heritage practitioners, civil societies, the World Heritage Centre, my colleagues, the advisory bodies. I see Joking is here with us, all the civil societies. Joe, you will agree with me that it will help us continue to discuss the important questions of theory, practices, around World Heritage in the different subjects that we have. Heritage as identity, I have to come back to it, Professor Albert, but also the very important issue we will see later, I think the keynote of Birgitta is important on the concepts of responsibility, the concepts of reconciliation, the concept of sustainability, and the concept of education. Very important. And I think because we are going to look at all this subject, maybe we'll find new solutions to probably contributing to resolving conflict, avoiding destruction of cultural heritage in times of conflict. And my friend, Professor Peter Stone, will probably also say a couple of few things about it. Both this conference and the fact that we are celebrating 50 years of World Heritage Convention choose, of course, conflict and heritage destruction at their focus. Yes, conflict, and armed conflict in particular, is one of the main threats to heritage, as is often specifically targeted because of what it represents. And I have witnessed it personally myself when I arrived in Timbuktu, few months after the city was liberated, where the great Imam, when he saw the mission coming to Timbuktu, he came to me and he said, "You are bringing us again life. Without our mausoleums, without our manuscripts, it's like we were losing our two lungs. So we were not living anymore." So I think this is something we need to remember. And the UNESCO actions, of course, has contributed not only to alert the international community and everyone that today, more than before, we need to take all needed actions to protect the heritage of humanity. Otherwise, it's our own humanity that we destroy. And it's our whole future that we are destroying. When these sites are targeted, they are targeted because they are symbols of cultural identity, that they have deep historic roots. And it's precisely because heritage has this unique dimension, which is intangible sometimes, that is given this protective status under international law. And while the defense of this heritage and all that it represents concerns all of us, our role at UNESCO, the role of the World Heritage Centre, the role of the advisory bodies, and the roles of all the countries, and including the civil societies, is of course to spearhead international efforts so that this is given more visibility, more attraction. And this is what we can see today with what is happening in Ukraine. And my purpose is not to speak about Ukraine. You spoke already about it. But I think today, this morning, we have a certain 212 sites and monuments, including religious buildings, museums, and others that have been destroyed. And we will continue to do so. But the question here is not to look at only Ukraine, is to say what is happening in Ukraine has started happening in many places and will probably continue happening if we don't do anything. Someone was saying our planet is burning and we are looking somewhere else. Our heritage of the humanity is being destroyed and we cannot continue looking somewhere else. we have to take actions, we have to join hands to make it things together. So again, let me thank the organizers of this conference, all of you, for providing the possibility to many of us to continue discussing this topic concerning the past, the present, and the future of World Heritage. So thank you again, and congratulations to all the authors and editors of this 50 years World Heritage Convention publication, because it's definitely with so many inspiring articles inside. So to finish, we will continue to advocate for the firm conviction that culture and heritage play a fundamental role in the construction of peaceful and democratic societies. And I wanted to end with it because that's exactly what represents the symbol of the action that our dear friend Birgitta Rinberg has done for all the time she has been leading this work on World Heritage. And I think today we are probably missing a professional who was responsible for World Heritage. But like we said, thank God, we are keeping a friend. We are keeping a big sister. Thank you, Birgitta. And I'm very proud and happy to be here today because I didn't want to miss this moment together with Mechthild. Thank you.